Hi guys, welcome back. I am Stu and this is Rainbow Valley for Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic. Rainbow Valley's local authority won't allow any landscape changes or large tree removal, but you must develop the area into a large theme park. Your objective: to have at least 1,000 guests in your park at the end of October, year 4, with a park rating of at least 600. So, despite the covenant that we can't get rid of any trees or change the landscape, 1,000 guests in doesn't really sound that much, especially with 4 years. So I'm just wondering whether there is something else involved here. On the scenario creation, you are able to make it so that guest generation is a harder setting. So I'm just wondering if that's going to be at play here. So we're charging for rides. Entrance will be free. Let's see what rides we've got. We've got chairlift. We've got not a bad selection of gentle rides. I mean, these are all pretty good, and I've got a fairly small space. We've got car ride as well. That could be useful because they've got nice tight bends, and that'll help us weave in and out of the trees. Not a bad selection of coasters to begin with. Again, Wooden Wild Mouse, nice tight bends to help weave in and out of the trees. When we played one of these before, I can't remember the name of it now, but you weren't allowed to remove any of the trees. I must have had about 4 Wooden Wild Mouses by the end of the scenario. Not a great selection of thrill rides, some water rides, which, I mean, it could be handy. We have got some water on the scenario, but it does look quite tricky to get to build down to, so whether we'll bother with that, I don't know. And some shops. We've got food, drink, we've got a toilet. We haven't got a kiosk, and that's something I like to have. So my first port of call then will be to put all my research into shops and stalls until I get a kiosk, and then I think once I've got the kiosk, then I'll be wanting to research thrill rides, because we haven't got a lot of them, but we do have a decent selection of coasters to crack on with. So I think what I'll do is I'll get rid of the paths just here. I'll bring it back, or maybe no entry sign them, because I don't want, when the guests start coming in, I don't want them wandering down here. I'm going to start building up here, and I'm going to build it's going to be quite tricky to plan where I'm going to build, to be honest. I think it's just going to be a case of I'm just going to build a ride, do the path in the entrance, maybe some shops or whatever, and then see where else I can go. I am going to get rid of these fences, and I'm also going to get rid of the benches as well. So what I'll do is I'll just get the path tool, so like that now, and then it'll just be a case of going over it, or using the arrows like that just to go over it, just to get rid of the benches, so that when I place benches, they'll be where I want them. We don't tend to get a problem with vandalism these days. We did when the game first came out, because there was a bit of a bug with it, but I like to build seating areas in specific places, or slightly out of the way. So I'm going to crack on with the building. I'll see you in a bit. It is April, year 1, so we've got just under 100 guests. That feels about normal, to be honest, considering we've only got the one ride down. So I don't think we've got any worries about how hard the guests are to attract. So I've got a no entry sign there. I've built another path as well, because I'm hoping to branch off from that. Yeah, so I've got a carousel down, I've got my toilets, I've got the information kiosk, so that's good. So I've switched my research now onto thrill rides, and yeah, so we're just going to crack on. It is June, year 1, so we've got over 250 guests, so that we're over a quarter of the way to the target, and we're only a few months in. We've still got another 3.5 years, so I can't see us having too many issues. So I've got Haunted House just there, and I've got a queue that's a lot longer than I normally would have, because it has rained a bit, And whilst the guests will go on the haunted house when it rains, because it's an indoor ride, I wanted to extend the queue line just so that when it does rain, loads of them will queue up for it. I've got the pirate ship as well, so that's always popular. And I'm just building a little path loop down to here so that I've got space to expand as well. I've got a spiral slide, and what I've noticed as well is we've got all these cliff edges. And that's good because although you're not allowed to alter the landscape, if you've got a solid cliff edge like that, you can build into it. And I've done that. I've got a twist just underground. So I figure at some point I might use the ones here and build a nice coaster underground just over here. Maybe a junior coaster or something like that. Because this is classic, so we have got boosters available on the junior coasters, so that'll help increase the excitement for it. Almost 300 guests in. Can't really see us having any issues, to be honest. Just need to carry on building and ensure the guests, the guests will take care of themselves. It is October year 1 and we're about to get 500 guests into the park, so we're almost halfway there. Then I've got a drop tower, good excitement on that. We can charge all our money for that. That's going up pretty much every full distance. We've got swinging inverter ship over there, good excitement on those, so we're making some tidy money. 3,000, that's not bad because we're not spending that much on ride construction, so we're doing all right. We've got an underground ride. So I've got a junior coaster. It's just coming into the station now, so we'll be able to see it go about its way. Let's turn the scenery off so we can see it a bit better. And there you go. So we've got a booster section at the beginning, into some helixes. A little dip and then back to the station. Nothing fancy, not bad excitement considering it's so small and compact and short. That's not bad at all, so I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, so my initial fear about harder guest generation is there's nothing to worry about, because clearly whilst we haven't got a huge amount of guests come through the park. I mean, sometimes by October year 1 we've got almost 1,000 guests, but we haven't put down as many rides as what we normally would have, because it's quite compact, quite hard to place them because of all the trees and the landscape, etc. But other than that, we are doing pretty well. So yeah, it's just a case of keeping on building, and we should do this no problem. It is May year 2, so I've been building some nice path loops just so I've got some nice paths to build onto and space to build off. So up here then I've got a Ferris wheel, we've got a motion simulator, we have, where's it gone, there you go, we've got a 3D cinema as well, another ride that the guests will go on when it's raining, and we've got our second coaster, because our first one is underground. So we've got a wild mouse here. Bad excitement on that, it's pretty good. 700 guests in the park, almost halfway through year 2, so we've got another what have we got, another year and a half to go, so we're going to do this no problem. Let's have a look then, let's see what we got. So I'm researching roller coasters at the moment, and as you can see, the last one I unlocked was Looping Roller Coaster, which is fantastic because we can just, once we've got a shuttle coaster, I mean, that's just easy. We could, in theory, just spam the park now with shuttle coasters, but that would be a bit easy. So I figure there's a nice space just at the back here where I could build a coaster between the trees, have a nice straight one, maybe a loop or something. But yeah, once I've got that down, I mean, that's going to bring an extra couple of hundred guests into the park. So once that's done, then we should be up and around the 1,000 mark. And from there then, it's just a case of ensuring that we keep the guests that we've got and try to attract new ones. It is October year 2, so we've got a looping coaster then. A nice simple design. Just shoots you up the track, back through the station, a loop, up the top, and photo section. And we've got a rainbow train because it is Rainbow Valley. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Good excitement on that. Guests are loving it. They're quite happy to pay £10 for that. They won't for long. A few months time they won't pay £10, so we'll just drop it down either to 5 or to 7 or whatever they're willing to pay. Just here then, as you can see, we've got an underground ride. So if I flick to underground view, there we go. We've got a nice go-kart track. It's underground, so it'll count as an indoor ride. As you can see, the guests more than happy to join the queue, even though it's raining. So it's not the best excitement, but with the go-karts, they will pay through the nose for even the most basic go-kart track. It is October year 3. We've got 1,200 guests in the park, so we've got a good buffer of around 200 guests. I've been adding shops and some seating areas just around the park. Over here then we've got a vertical drop roller coaster. Nothing complicated. Down, bend, loop, photo section, back around through the loop, and you've got a little brake section there, and then back up. That sends the next train on its way. Good capacities on these, so there's it's got a nice sort of flow through it. I think it's only the 2 trains, but the guests aren't having to wait too long. I probably could have another block section at the top and add an extra train, but at the moment it's fine. I don't mind the guests waiting maybe a little bit longer than they need to. They're not waiting a huge amount of time, only 4 minutes, so but I don't mind them waiting a little bit longer because it does keep them in the park longer. And then just over here then we have got a mine train. Good excitement on that. Did I show you the excitement on let's have a look. What was that? There you go. Good excitement on that one. And then so there you go, just weaving in and out of the trees. A little underground section. Back out over the water, another little underground section. Little break into an S-bend and then back up to the station. So we've got a nice buffer then of a couple of hundred guests. So I think we've only got a year to go. So what we could do now, let's look at the profits of the park, see what rides, oh, there you go. So the 3D cinema, that's losing money, so clearly I haven't been on top of that, so I need to reduce the price of that. But what I could do is reduce the prices of all the flat rides, put them down to maybe £1 each, ensure that guests that are running lower money still have something to go on. And if I really wanted to, I could make all the rides, all the flat rides anyway, free, because that way then any guests that have run out of money are still able to go on rides, so they don't have to leave. That'll give me a nice buffer going into the final year. We probably won't need it. We've got good money coming in, so we've got more than enough to be able to subsidize rides being free if we wanted to. But to be honest, I don't know, I can see me using fast forward a lot during the last year because we've already beaten the objective. So let's just crack on with it and get on to the next one. And we're back. Okay, so this park, Rainbow Valley, then we needed 1,000 guests by the end of October year 4. So with such a seemingly low guest target and a long time to do it, I did wonder if there was a harder guest generation setting applied to this one, but we were doing so well early on that I quickly realized that that's not the case. So there is also the covenants that you can't remove trees and you can't alter the terrain, so that's fine. It just means that you need to work with what you've got. So what we did then, we researched shops early on, simply because we didn't have a kiosk. Once we unlocked the kiosk, then we switched up into thrill rides, because we didn't have a lot of thrill rides. We only had a twist and something else, and then it was just a case of placing rides then as and when they unlock, building nice pathing loops just around the park, so that we've got a nice space on the inside, the outside, etc. Not blocking ourselves in, because the last thing you want to do is box yourself into a corner. And from there then, building loads of shops and seating areas. We got this, I like those, I think they look pretty cool. It's very simple to build. You just place like a couple of fences down in like a C shape, put the path in the middle, put the little hat on top, and you're done. And then add in some roller coasters. Then we unlocked the looping coaster. So what you could do, if you're struggling, you could just spam looping coasters, and that'll get you to the target, no problem. But we weren't having any issues, so we tried to go for a bit of variation. So we've got a looping coaster, we've got a wild mouse, we've got a mine train just over here underground, we've got a junior coaster. With Classic, you've got booster sections, so that was our first coaster. Good excitement on that. So that's benefiting from the booster sections. Then we've got vertical drop coaster, so that's probably the standout ride in the park. Maybe the mine train, but this is probably the more intense of them. And then just here, then we've got cutbacks, my new favorite profit coaster, because we weren't really running short of space, but we were running short of easy space to use, because I didn't really want to. We've still got all this space here and down here, but it looked a bit sort of fiddly to get to, and to be honest, we've already achieved the target, so I didn't want to waste my time building all that down there. So then for the final year, I've just been placing little bits of scenery around the place, and nothing huge. Like I've got like one of those little sheds there and some more there, and then at the start then what I've done, these little water jets, I thought we'll put them down in places where you're going to get a lot of guests. That way then they might have that thought where, oh, that's nice scenery, or was it, wow, great scenery. Let's see, what are they all thinking? Any of them? No one likes my scenery. Not a single guest likes my scenery. I haven't finished my chips. We all know that problem. The video is really bad. No one likes my scenery. Music is nice here. Okay. That's hurt my feelings. Yeah, park ratings up on maximum. We got some issues with litter, but not enough to affect the park rating. Fairly easy scenario, to be honest. I was expecting the last tier to be more challenging than this, but I mean, in the end, we've got 600 guests more than we need, and I know a lot of that is the fact that we've now got a lot of free rides, but at the same time we're making so much money that we can have the free rides, and we've completed it. Oh, fantastic. Let's hope the rest of them are Southern Sands. I've been told that one's tricky, so that'll be cool then. Let's hope so. So we've now got access to that. That's cool. Yeah, so not a very difficult scenario. Shouldn't give you too many problems, as long as you build nice pathing loops, because you don't want the guests to get lost. You want them to be able to find their way, and for the staff to be able to find their way nicely around the park. As long as you do that and you place a nice variety of rides, you should be fine. and then once you unlock the looping coaster, if you are struggling, just spam them and you'll do it no problem. So I am Stu, this was Rainbow Valley. Any questions or feedback, drop them in the comment section. If you did like the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.